Woo, like listening to hardstyle? You know you do. You know you do. What? So man, I went to bed kind of late last night, but I still got something really good. I didn't think I would since I went to bed. Well, I probably didn't fall asleep till midnight, and then I woke up like at let's see, 11, 12, 2:30. And I was just, I don't know, it's like I was having a hard time getting back into a really deep sleep. You know, like the way I normally sleep. But I still got something really good. And man, it was fun. So I was in England. We went to England on a crop circle trip. And this is the millionth experience I've had. You know, going to England, going on the crop circle tour. But it's like, in the scenario, we never go look at crop circles. It's kind of funny. We do all the stuff leading up to going to the crop circles. Like roaming around, like eating at a restaurant or roaming around the bed and breakfast for days and days and days and days. Okay, so basically, so I was roaming around this bed and breakfast. You know, it's kind of like a motel or whatever, with a bunch of other crop circle goers. I would say about, see how many people. Oh, about 10, I would say, 10 people. A lot of them were familiar to me, and we just, for days and days and days, we roamed around the bed and breakfast, ate lunch, dinner, breakfast, and just walked around and conversing and stuff and cleaning, and it's like we were, you know, eventually getting ready to go on, you know, to go see some crop circles, but like I say, I mean, forever was in this bed and breakfast for days and days and days. Okay, so and I talked a lot to some of the guys and girls that were, you know, that were sleeping in my room and everything, and so finally, after all of that, it was time to, and like I say, basically we were in England. Joel didn't tell me like what town or whatever, but we were in England, and one time I remember the host of the bed and breakfast, or they were also some were hosts and some of the people were well, you know, were actually British people staying there at the bed and breakfast. And I remember they were like trying to talk to me, and they were, you know, they had that British accent or whatever. And I was just like, I was trying to understand them, and they were just talking really weird, like I couldn't understand them. So that was kind of funny because their accent was just too weird. And, but yeah, I mean, I know they speak English or whatever over there, but oh my God, it's still a foreign freaking country, and they speak a very different language. Their slang is all different. It's a very foreign country. But anyway, but it's nice. I mean, I like it. It's kind of cool, but it feels very controlled. And then you like go into a gas station and they don't have shit to buy. So apparently not hardly anything is available over there like it is in America. So it's like, I don't know, like everything is Nazi-fied and very limited. I mean, I don't think I'd want to live there permanently or anything. Okay, so it was finally time to leave the bed and breakfast and to go to the airport. And so I was following this slender guy, and he was a cross between these two guys that I knew when I was younger. One guy was a neighbor, the other one was a friend. We used to go biking and stuff, and it was like a cross between 2 or 3 guys. This kind of skinny dude that was on the crop circle trip with us. For whatever reason, I was following him all through the airport to try to go to our gate, to find our gate and everything. So, and that's when I noticed, I realized that, that we had been wearing white uniforms. Like I had a white uniform on. It's kind of funny. And he had a white uniform on, and we all were wearing white uniforms. Oh, before that, whoops, I forgot to mention this part. Okay, so after like when we were getting ready to go, when we were getting ready to leave the bed and breakfast and go to the airport, I rummaged around several, 3 or 4 of the rooms, and I was looking at this, looking at that, and make sure I didn't leave anything. Oh yeah, see that memory just came back to me. I went upstairs, and before I walked out the door, I went upstairs, started looking in that room, this room, that room, this room. I looked in about 4 rooms, and that's when I noticed some makeup, some makeup foundation on some of the vanity. Is that what it's called? Vanity, I guess. The vanity or the cabinet or whatever. And then I go into another bathroom and I notice like toothbrushes and stuff. And then I realized, okay, none of that's mine. None of that's mine. None of that's mine. All these memories are just coming back to me. It was all very vivid. And then I realized, okay, so none of that's mine. Because I just want to make sure I didn't leave anything important behind. So, because I'm real OCD. And so I went back up and looked in 4 of the rooms. Which is kind of funny, because why would I be staying in 4 rooms? But in the scenario, it was like I say, in the scenario, it was as if we had been staying there for days and days and days and days. And I probably did sleep in all of the rooms. I switched rooms apparently. So when it was time to leave, I went back up there and started looking in all the rooms, make sure I didn't leave anything. And that's when I noticed, I looked at one of the rooms and I realized, wow, like this looks like a freaking motel room. Like all the linens were all messed up and off the bed. They were all white. It was all white linens. Sheets were all white. And everything was all in disarray. All the sheets just thrown on the floor and stuff. Because, the workers at the bed and breakfast were going to come clean all that up. So that was kind of funny. But it was really messed up. And like I say, this was all very virtual reality. So, and the energy of it was freaking awesome. Okay, the energy of it, yes, it felt very foreign. The energy of this scenario, it felt like I was in a different country. It felt very foreign. It felt, like I was in England, which I was. And yeah, it also felt like a different dimension. It didn't feel like 3D. I haven't had an experience in a long time where it feels like 3D. But anyway, so it was awesome energy until I get to this other part. Okay, so as I was following this guy, we'll just pretend like we're walking north. As I was following this guy, the skinny guy, one of the crop circle people, through the airport and everything, we were trying to find our gate and everything. That's when I noticed we all had white uniforms on, and I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it until we left the bed and breakfast. Until we were in the airport trying to find our gate. That's when I noticed it. And I looked down at his arms. And like I say, the guy was very, very familiar to me. Joel was trying to copy off of that Clint guy I told you about that I hung out with a long time ago. And a couple other guys. I think that gay guy that used to be my neighbor. And then like another guy. cross between all of those three people that I knew when I was younger. And I was following him through the airport, and I was behind him. And that was when I noticed our all white uniforms and his long sleeve, that they were we had buttoned up long sleeve shirts, and his seemed to be opened, and his long sleeves were just kind of dangling, draping down, you know, because it seemed to be kind of too big for him. And his arms, his sleeves were just kind of flowing freely, you know, down below his hands and everything, at the sleeves or whatever. And we were wearing button down white uniforms. Okay, so then all of a sudden, as we were trying to find our gate, it's like he was trying to get me, trying to point out like, hey, you got to go across this area. And I'm thinking, and he's sitting there walking around it. I'm like, that didn't make no sense. But I know Joe got this from the abandoned video that I just watched last night, but it was kind of like this area of all this broken wood, but it wasn't steps. It was just flush to the ground, this little wooden broken entryway. All the wood was all kind of gross and broken and dilapidated. And I was like, I'm not going over that. The wood was kind of brownish, orangish. And I'm like, I'm not walking over that. It's like I would have fell in holes and everything else. But he was kind of pointing out like as if I needed to walk through that entryway. And he was going to stand there and walk around it. So I just sat there, I just stood there basically and observed it. And I didn't walk through it. I ended up just walking around it. But that part was kind of funny. And so then as we tried to find our gate, I noticed an odd wooden entry area I was supposed to walk through. But it looked very dangerous. I was like, I'm not going through that. It was all rickety, and I would have had to jump down, jump up, etc., and jump over all the holes and shit in the wood. And like I say, Joel got that from the abandoned video that I just watched on YouTube. Okay, so then we got separated for a while after he sort of wanted me to notice the airport guards. Oh, yeah, so another thing too, you know, the alien, Joel's always leaving me abandoned, you know, like I'm trying to follow somebody to get to some place, and then all of a sudden they disappear, and then I'm like all lost and crap. He does that a lot. Okay, so then we got separated for a while after he sort of wanted me to notice the airport guards, who look like robot type of astronauts in an all black uniform. Their helmets were black with a black plastic or glass covering, like an astronaut spacesuit. And there were at least 3 to 4 of them. And basically it's kind of like they were TSA agents. Except in the scenario, it's like they were just kind of airport guards. And even in the scenario, I was like, why did they look so weird, you know? But there were about 3 to 4 of them. And they were standing off to the right of where me and that guy was walking. And, but when I saw them, oh my God. Okay, so here's what they look like, basically. That's what they look like. Except all black outfit, all black helmet, all black front face helmet, all black back of the helmet, and all black spacesuit looking thing. All black. But it's like they were TSA guards or something. I mean TSA agents or whatever. And okay, so, and I told you the energy was like freaking, oh man, long, I was in the scenario, long time. The energy was awesome until I looked over there and saw the 4 black astronaut, or the, you know, guards that look like black astronauts, or astronauts in a black spacesuit. So there were about, like I say, there were about 3 or 4 of them. I want to say 3 of them, but there could have been 4 standing there. And this is where the whole energy changed from normal and awesome, like I just told you before. Like it felt like England, it felt like a different dimension. Okay, so this is where the whole energy changed from awesome and normal to downright scary and negative. Right at the moment I spotted the airport guards, aka stormtroopers, aka astronauts in a spacesuit looking thing. But they looked more identical to an astronaut spacesuit, but all black. I don't know why I want to call them stormtroopers. I guess because of the energy was so evil and scary and bad. But anyway, but once I saw them, oh my God, they gave off the most scary, horrid, evil, negative energy you could imagine. And I haven't had an experience like this where there's just really creepy, bad, negative energy in the scenario. I haven't had an experience like that, like, I don't think ever. Not with that kind of energy in it. But anyway, it was kind of cool. But yeah, they were, they just seemed very mean, and it was just kind of weird and cool. And, but like I say, this scenario, man, I was in it for days and days and days and days and days. And, which I'm surprised I got something good, because like I say, I was having a hard time getting back to that deeper sleep that I normally can sleep. In the morning time, I got back to normal. Early in the morning, I was feeling like I was back to normal. Well, the experience was already over with by then. This experience was probably from about 4:30 to 5:30. And then, by 6 or whatever, I was feeling like, like that normal feeling where I could sleep real good for another 2 hours or whatever. But yeah, so, but yeah, 2:30, 3 o'clock, I was still having a hard time, like, trying to fall asleep and stay asleep and blah, 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 blah. But like I say, I did finally get some good sleep, but it probably wasn't till 4:30 or 5, all the way to 6:15 or whatever, 6:30 or whatever. But anyway, it was a fun experience. But yeah, I've never had an experience with such horrid energy like that with the entities. And I guess it was probably aliens, posing as black or astronauts in a black spacesuit. But anyway, it was fun. Thanks for listening.